I've seen things you people wouldn't believe. Attack ships on fire off the shoulder of Orion. I watched sea beams glitter in the dark near the Tannhauser Gate. All those moments will be lost in time, like tears in the rain. Time to die. Hello, and welcome to. This is not necessarily the final episode of not Victory Vigil Sacrifice. Why did my brain make me go in that direction? No, final episode of Electric Memory, a Blade Runner campaign. So we have just wrapped how many episodes? 18, 19, 20? Many. Yes. And so this is our wrap party. It is Ask Us Anything. So we are here for you, our loyal followers, as we talk about our characters, the game, the way things could have gone, the way things should have gone. I don't know. But I'm here. I'm willing to answer questions. The rest of the cast is here. They're willing to answer questions. So we're gonna start in chat. If any players have any questions. Or I suppose, cast, if you have anything you want to know about me or the game or anything else.
That's a great question.
So that was about 3 or 4 games in. I wanted to get a good feel for who everyone was, and whose story made the most sense to be the replicant. And I sort of figured it was probably either Cassius or Evie.
I figured I was the runner-up.
Yeah, well, and so what really firmed up my decision was when we did the background game that was only Evie, Ben, or Evie, Evan, and Dutch. And I was like, and so when I sat down, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna write the personal plot for Evie to go through. What makes the most sense for her? Well, she really actually kind of hates this job. So I want to give her a reason why she's essentially here under duress, and also a twist on, because you had the good Evie in your head. I'm like, okay, well, what if that was an actual person? Well, it's looked like her every time that this person has appeared. Okay, well then, twin sister, best explanation for that. Twin sister wanted to become a Blade Runner. Shit goes sideways. Evie gets press ganged.
I had actually thought that Evie was the replicant that was based off of the twin sister that was in the hospital.
Yeah,
I thought she's a secret replicant for sure.
If we go back and watch that episode, you can watch my face as I'm like putting that to the same thing Eric put together. I was like, oh fuck, this is my fake memory. This is my fake memory. Like I'm living my fake memory right now. Like that was my whole thought process. And then when Cash was real, I was like, oh, it's not me. Thank fuck.
Nice.
I was briefly tempted to make it be Dutch in the aftermath of Dutch dying. And to have hey guys, Dutch is back. Entirely new model.
Yes.
But then I'm like, no, that's too cheesy.
I thought maybe you might have tried to kill Dutch during the flashback episode and then be like, oh shit, so the one who died later was the replicant. Fuck.
So I have a question for Eric, actually.
Yeah.
So if Dutch didn't die, what was your plan for him?
He was initially trying to figure out what Holden was up to, because he knew from the very beginning that he was up to no good, and he was trying to figure out what that was. and to potentially get him reported because he didn't want to be a Blade Runner, but he got press ganged into it, and he was just like, no. And when he came back into it, he saw that there was something obviously going on with him. He wanted to dig in and get more, but then he ended up like falling head over heels for love, not for love. Help me out here.
For Quinn, right?
Well,
For
Quill.
Well.
Yeah, for Quell. Sorry.
yeah.
He fell head over heels for Quell, and and he got.
I mean, I am a little sad that I didn't get the chance to sort of further that relationship.
Mm.
Because so there's not a lot about Quell in any of the published material. I'm like, okay, as long as Dutch essentially gave her a new experience, and as long as he was able to keep doing that, he would retain her interest up to the point where Quell was like, I'm falling in love. This is new.
That would have been a kind of like a interesting thing to explore, though.
Yeah.
I think so. I think Dutch being around would have changed a lot because Dutch grounded Evie's like tendency to be like, fuck this. Cause she was like, oh, someone I can identify with. Thank God there's someone else on this team. Because like I think she went way off the rail, like deliberately so went off the rails after Dutch died. Like she was spiraling towards a not good place.
So, like, I think one thing with Tanner is, like, especially towards the beginning of the game, like, I was kind of off doing my own thing. So, I have a question for you, Rachel. How kind of frustrating was that at times?
I mean, it wasn't that frustrating because essentially the way that the game is structured and designed, it pretty much presumes that characters are going to split off and pursue their own leads and their own aspects of investigation. And also, like, I'd see you in Dune. I know your play style, sir.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, it's typical Jared to be like, you know what, I'm gonna go do this other thing real quick.
Yep.
Which, to be fair, I do that shit. The gremlin will take control of me sometimes, and I'll just go do some shit.
Well, it was kind of like coming from Dune, like you were just so used to like having plans, but plans about plans. So, like, you could do that in Blade Runner, but it's not nearly as like, I guess,
Not as labyrinthine, perhaps, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's still there.
exactly.
That actually, I was intrigued by what you were doing with the UN. That got me completely by surprise. I was like, oh, really?
Yeah.
Tell me more.
Yeah, no.
Oh, Drea's
Really?
got a question in chat. What Foster Worth moment made each of you cringe the hardest at his insincerity?
Is that also directed at me?
I would probably assume so.
Oh,
You
okay.
did.
I had to think about it a lot.
I imagine you internally cringed at some points when you were playing him.
Oh yeah. Oh no, I got it. I'll let you all go first.
God. I think honestly, when you first debuted him, when you first revealed who Foster was, I was like, oh no. This is my nightmare. This is my night. Like going from Dutch for Evie, because I was an Evie headset, of course. Like so, going from Dutch to that, I was just like, this is my fucking nightmare. Like this is my fucking nightmare. This is the anti-Dutch.
Oh, man, there were just so many.
I know. That's why I had to think about it for a second. Like,
I'm thinking, didn't you do like a speaking at Dutch's little like funeral gathering?
no, he wasn't there.
No, he was off doing shady shit.
Yeah.
And the opportunity to do some shady shit.
No, probably at the end there where he just randomly spills coffee on the crime scene. Whoopsies! I'm only a seasoned Blade Runner.
These things happen.
I don't think I ever found anything about Foster cringy per se.
What kind of monster are you, Steve?
Um,
I mean, they're both replicants. It's fine.
I have. I don't know. I know you've all played with Eric a lot, so you know him. I've known Eric for a very long time at this point. And I only ever saw Sinister. So yeah, cause I know how your mind works, you fucker.
I feel like having Eric as a GM a lot is what prepared me for Foster Worth's fuckery.
Sure.
Yeah,
You know to beware. I have to beat a what in an insight check? Fuck.
God, those if you ever want to set an example of a dice telling a ridiculous story, it is the Foster Evie constant like, oh, I'm gonna bullshit you real quick. Yep, you sure did. You seem real trustworthy, bud. Just over and over again.
I did not expect to get so lucky with those die rolls, especially considering when everything else was, hot garbage.
Insight was literally my best stat in the game. And I any other time, crush it. Against Foster, nope. Unfucking beatable.
So,
wait, what's Eric's most cringe playing Foster? I want to know.
yeah.
Oh, that would have to be the meeting that we had with Evie and Neander, and how I absolutely had to kiss his ass forwards, backwards, and upside down. Like, that was just like, I'm playing a part right now, and I'm hating myself at the same time. I'm multitasking.
That for me is my favorite Foster moment. Just him being like, "Shut the fuck up, Evie," but can't say "Shut the fuck up, Evie."
Yeah, he was like, "Oh, everything's fine, Neander. You have to excuse my friend." Then he'd have to make like these hand signals behind Neander, like, "Shut the fuck up."
So I have a question for Evie. What's the likelihood of your sister coming back?
Well, so given. I think what will happen if I've played with Rachel a lot as well, and Rachel knows exactly where to stick the knife into Aaron at this point. So my prediction vaguely is that if we go the rogue replicant route, I'll probably still be playing Evie for season 2, and then my sister is going to show up on the opposite side of the matter.
Yeah.
Oh man.
That is my prediction for what's going to happen.
Blood against blood.
If Evie had died at the end of because there was a non-zero chance near the end there, even without the ever rewrite, there was still but yeah, I think had Evie died and then there was a question of who I'd play next, I don't think I could play her. Because replicants would have killed her sister and she would know that, and so it would be she would be on a vendetta. So I couldn't do a rogue replicant character. I would have loved to have played her as
what an arc that would have been, though.
Yeah, what a great arc for sure. But yeah, I don't think she would have been playable in a rogue replicant season. I think she will show up in the rogue replicant season, though. That is my prediction.
We'll see. As a personal interest, and also GM interest, I mean, I know this does not apply to Cassius and Evan, but
why not?
It was all a fake. They're not dead.
Because Cassius is, well,
There's
I mean,
so many Cassiuses. Cash-eye?
we have established that there are multiple models of the Cassius variant.
Mm-hmm.
So you could bring back a Cassius.
Is it
What's the
Evan was
next,
Evan was
name?
valuable too in
Just-
some weird way, right?
Yes. Yes.
So there's a possibility of a second Evan model.
I was honestly surprised I did not die last episode.
I'll be real.
You
I
came
so
real close.
I did.
I mean,
my bets for deaths, by the way. I don't know if we've talked about this yet. My bets for
oh,
deaths.
I was gonna wait for
Oh.
Ben
Oh,
could
okay,
show
I'll
up
wait,
at
I'll
the
wait,
very
I'll
least
wait.
ever.
Okay, I'll wait. I will wait for that. But yeah, I'm very
But,
surprised Tanner survived.
Damn.
Well, I mean, if the game had been designed differently, he might have, because he did get down to 0 hit points.
Hmm.
And at that point, it's very easy to coup de grace you, but there was no one there who would have wanted to do that or was capable of it.
But I did, which were the 2 rookies, right?
Right, but the rookies were under your control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so they certainly weren't gonna frag you. They had no reason to. And Cassius had just run out of emotional gas.
That was such a great scene, though.
Yeah.
Props to Hood Arcade here and the late great Evan. We can't be here.
Yeah, the empty chambered gun. Fucking Ben.
Yeah, that
God's
one was,
sake.
that was really good.
Ruthless.
Yeah.
Just absolute ruthless. Cassius was really choked up. Thank you, Drea.
So anyway, sorry, I'm having to entertain a cat while I'm doing this, so there's a little bit of multitasking as I like shine the laser pointer
By the way,
across
what was
the
that,
apartment.
What was that question you wanted to
All right.
tell us?
Yeah, it was.
Before we do that, I just want to throw this out there. We all need to pool some resources and get Rachel one of those automated cat
Cat
laser
feeders.
pointers.
Oh,
Just like it has like a motion sensor or a timer, and it'll just shoot the laser on the floor and spin it around. Like,
this is a wise idea.
yeah, it's pretty great.
He's normally very, very good about when he asks for playtime. It just like somehow this past week he's like, oh, Rachel's streaming. It's time to play.
Baby.
Yeah.
Oh, hello, tiny
Very
gentleman.
curious right now.
How old is he now?
4 months. Actually, 4
Oh,
and a half.
so he's getting close to proper vision
Yep.
instead of just seeing shadows. That's cool.
Yep. He's probably like, ooh, all the pretty lights.
Yep. For sure. He knows you're a
Uh.
captive audience. That's what Drea said about your cat, Rachel.
Yes, well, but then like I have the wand toys to hand, and I flick them about here off screen, and he eventually catches it and then drags it like into one of his little dens. And then comes back and he's like, play more, and I'm like, you just dragged the toy away from easy arm's length. So
Yes, I would
I
like
have-
to kill more things.
So I have 2 little USB laser toys that I keep charged up at my workstation. Yeah, I know. Yeah, like, Jesus, cat.
Jesus Christ, Chad. Get it together. Drea made
Kids
a
Benadryl.
joke. Yeah, I was saying, Drea made a joke about giving your child Benadryl, and then Betty made it worse.
Oh,
I don't think
Jesus.
Benadryl.
I mean, didn't they used to
Make 'em
give
sleep.
babies whiskey when they were
Yeah, that was
teething?
like,
Yeah.
just dip your finger in
On
some whiskey, let them suck on it
pacifier.
real quick. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I've seen the cough medicine they had.
What movie is it? I think it's 4 Rooms where he puts Vicks on their eyelids when they're closed. So if you open them, it's L.
Oh, like
God,
the
4 Rooms. I haven't
whiskey
thought
I
about
can
that in a long
sort
time.
of understand because it's like, well, I don't have any other pain relief, baby,
Yeah.
and you're clearly in agony, so here you go.
It'll also make him sleep better, like a lot better.
I was a nightmare child. I was born with a hernia.
Oh no.
So was I.
But the Vicks on the eyelids just seems mean.
Yeah, it was fully an awful part. No one do this to your children. Do not do this awful shit to your children. These are lessons of how we shouldn't have been raised, not lessons of what to do.
Awful.
So what was
Uh,
that question that you wanted to tell us?
Yeah, so I was just curious on how many of you want to bring your characters over into season 2.
That's highly dependent when it comes to Foster. There has to be a series of things that have to happen first, I think.
Okay. I mean, I'm interested to hear them because I do want season 2. I've told this to the player base, but I haven't said it on stream, I don't think. But so Free League has announced that the next source book that they're putting out for Blade Runner will be about the Replicant Underground. And I mean, anyone who has followed this show and seen my anti-cop disclaimer at the beginning of every episode, I find the Replicant Underground a lot more rife with story potential. And so I really want season 2 to be Replicant Underground. And so, yeah, players could carry their characters forward and become part of the Replicant Underground, especially what's going on the colonies, which, the setting, you only get hints of it. And, I'm like, all right, here's some hints, here's a good prompt, here's some story, here's a campaign. There might be another Wayland-Yutani crossover in Deep
Nice.
Space.
In Deep Space? Ooh.
Hey, okay, hang on.
Is there going to
Uh,
be extra certain life form that we find?
I mean,
Maybe.
what's wild about because Alien is also Free League, of course. What's wild about the Alien setting is like a campaign of it's not supposed to do xenomorph heavy at all.
Right.
It's very much about being, like having your spaceship and kind of navigating the corporate nightmare that is that universe. So yeah. Also, Betty, that you're finally said something correct in chat. Quinn is too good for Blade Runner.
So I don't know. I have been thinking about not taking Tanner as for the season 2,
mhm.
just because I thought his backstory was kind of lame. But on the other hand, like the way it ended, like for him was, I guess I can blame this on Jared. Is like, if you put me under pressure, I'm gonna crack. And like I was like, oh man, go with my girlfriend or don't go with my girlfriend. Like, oh my god, I can't figure this out. So I was like freaking out. Like, but the thing
That
is,
was a
like,
great
I don't
scene,
know.
though. That was
Well,
like
so-
a legit character moment.
It
Yeah.
It was. So let me throw this in front of you. Is Tanner becomes an NPC, gets exactly what he wants, which is they form a specific UN task force, ostensibly dedicated to replicant welfare.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, almost immediately turns corrupt. Not necessarily Tanner, but the department at least, although Tanner was already corrupt. And he becomes one of the antagonists for season 2.
Why do you gotta turn all my characters into bad guys, man? First
I'm
Archibald, now
I'm not
Tanner.
doing it. I am merely tempting you with the possibility.
I know.
Look, Archibald made all right. Like real talk. Archibald made his bed and laid in it. Okay.
And
Yeah.
so did Tanner.
Yeah.
One of the plot elements that I do sort of regret not being able to explore more was Tanner being a dirty cop.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like it came up quite a bit early on. There was so much Chinian flying around with from
Oh, yeah.
Tanner very early on.
Well,
Like
that
just
and
an
on top-
absurd amount of money. Like, okay, you did not get this on a cop salary.
So, like, another thing too, like, we didn't really kind of go into the Yakuza side because he was like super deep into the Yakuza, and you probably could have just done something from that as well.
Yeah, and I also wanted to progress the internal affairs investigation storyline more. But I simply ran out of time with all the other storylines to juggle.
Well,
I know what you
I
mean.
don't know. I've also thought about like keeping Tanner and like going through with my plan and just like playing him that way and actually trying to make LA better. But I also know that you want next season you want to go with the replicant underground. So it's
Yeah.
like, should I change just so that way I can be with the rest of the party, or should I not?
I mean, if Foster did one thing this entire season was prove that you can be a Blade Runner and part of the Replicant Underground at the same time.
True. That could be a
Yeah.
dirty mole.
Evie was rocking that life a bit too, just not as explicitly as Foster.
If I do come back with Tanner, I do think that I'm going to find Styles, and I have a particular deal I would make with him.
Oh yeah?
Be able to, yeah.
What deal?
So thing is like the UN lady wants me and one other person, aka the replicant, to be the face of the franchise. I could be like, hey, I'm making this new department. I can have anyone you want be that partner with me in return for something I haven't thought of yet. So two moles for the price of one.
For a favor yet to be named.
Bogomo.
Yep, a favor yet to be made. I was gonna say it was something with like my girlfriend, but on the other, like, I don't know, just something rubbed me a wrong way when like I understand it was like stressful times and shit, but like didn't even like, like I just the way she talked to me was just not very loving at all. Like not even I miss you or anything. I'm like, okay, whatever, fine, be that way.
Yeah, that was
Jesus
interesting. I was
Christ.
expecting
I was like,
something
okay,
different, from
you
that
haven't
conversation.
seen me in years. Why? How about like, I understand times are like stressful right now, but like, you'd be like, oh, Tanner, I think like for example, if someone was like, like if I got separated from Trudy like forcefully, like or something like that, I would probably like panic and be when I first saw her, and I'd be like, oh, thank God you're okay, blah 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 blah. I don't know.
They
It
changed.
rubbed me the wrong way.
Either that or they were playing you. One of the two.
That too. I was thinking about that as well. I'm like,
That was very intriguing.
yep. But I also had another thing about her that I told Rachel that I wanted to do, but I don't. But she may be leaning into it a little bit, but she kind of denied it when I tried to. So
Which was that?
her being a mass murderer up at the colonies, and the reason I was
Oh.
trying to find her was I was trying to retire her.
Well, I mean, you can certainly
Oh.
think she's a mass murderer.
Exactly.
But
But yeah, that's just
so
go on. I'm sorry.
yeah, well, so I guess the next question I would want is if we did have a season two, and if you did bring your characters into the Replicant Underground, what sort of story would you like?
I'll be right back. I got a message.
Oh, okay.
I think for me, it would have to be either continuing to be a mole within the LAPD, because as far as I can tell, the only people that suspected Foster of not being any good on the up and up are all dead, or they're gone off planet. So, if his position is still secure within that faction, he could potentially be a continuous boon to the resistance movement by feeding them intel and helping to plan things, short term, long term, whatever. It was his goal, though, ultimately to try to meet the what I lovingly called the Cyclops, or the head of the organization, which Cassius ironically got to before I did. Freya, I think her name was.
Yes.
That was his goal, like to try to, generate enough currency within that organization to get placed in front of the leadership and be like, all right, I have stuff, I have ideas for you.
So
And
Freya
kind
was
of go from there.
Freya's the head of the.
It's unclear if she's actually the head. She definitely knows a lot. She's definitely very highly placed in whatever organization there is that is the Replicant Underground. Um, she shows up in 2049, in the Vegas showdown. She is the one who essentially gouged out her own eye, to essentially remove proof that she's a replicant, which, I mean, I respect the hustle, but like if there's a very important distinction to be made from people and you remove the source of that distinction, like
You've all but confirmed what you
people
are.
aren't dumb. They're gonna make conclusions.
Lots of people are missing an eye. It happens.
Well, she could potentially pass herself off as a non-replicant who just lost their eye and is impoverished enough that they can't afford that kind of tech replacement. Because unless I'm incorrect, the old replicants you could usually tell because by looking at their eye for like a serial number. But the new models, the Nexus 9s, or I think maybe it started with the Nexus 8s onward, you'd have to go into like the bone structure to find the serial number. Is that right?
So you would find the serial number on the older models. It's the newer models who have the very obvious eye thing going on.
It's the opposite. Okay.
Yeah.
How did I get that? Okay.
And that's why you needed the Blade Runners to do the Voight Comp, which I guess is easier than pinky surgery.
Yeah.
I feel like there was an easier way to do that. Just saying.
In the old days.
Just chop off my pinky. Just do it.
I don't think Cassius was making good decisions in general. It wasn't about the easiest thing. It was about.
Were any of our
someone-
characters making good decisions?
Oh
is true.
man, I really want to say Quinn, but Quinn doesn't know when to shut the fuck up.
No. If Quinn just had been like, someone had been like say shut the fuck up Friday had made it past the blackout, and someone just showed shut the fuck up Friday to Quinn at a young age, Quinn would have been like, oh, I just need to close my mouth sometimes and stop letting the words run out.
We're gonna have to bully Quinn about this. Not bully. Bullying is wrong. Don't do it. But
Lovingly bully.
give Ever some mild hazing about that when they show up. But yeah, well, so I can't really ask this of Ben because he is on tiny human tending duties. But Steve, do you have any sort of concept for what sort of character you might want to play next?
So we're doing Replicant Underground.
Yeah.
Um.
It's gonna start in the colonies.
Okay. And then I assume come back to LA at some point along the way. Is that the idea?
So I haven't yet written anything out,
Yeah.
but I do have sort of the outline in my head. And so I would want returning to Earth to be something that I could present to the PCs and be like, hey, is this something you want to do or not?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
same.
agree, tiny human.
Okay. Well, if we're off colony and we're a part of the replicant underground and we are supposed to be fighting the man, I think in order to differentiate myself from Cassius in a good way, I would like to play um to go like the opposite direction essentially. I like playing radically different like base concepts and characters.
Mhm.
And the whole thing about Cassius is he never knew where he stood in general. He never believed in anything specifically. It was always just kind of whatever was in front of it. Like yeah, he had no real compass in life. So I'd like to play a true believer of some sort in the underground. Perhaps, to a degree, an extremist in that regard. That may cause some issues for everybody else. Maybe I've blown up a post
I mean,
office or something.
You get along with
could
us,
always. I mean, if you want to fuck with your fellow players, you play another Centurion model replicant.
Only this one who is all in on the fight.
Dre has suggested that you name this PC Rain Tiersha.
Oh, okay. Tannhauser Bush. Oh my gosh.
I love this.
So-
Someone should just play Neander Wallace with a Groucho Marx fake mustache over his real mustache.
So, I have read Robert Heinlein, and so my headcanon is that the angels all have Neander Wallace DNA, just XX chromosomes.
Oh shit.
I hate that.
But he'd do it, right? He'd do it.
Yeah, he'd do that.
I mean, my go-to description for Neander Wallace is he's Elon Musk if Elon Musk was as smart as he thinks he is.
Yeah.
That's a scary proposition.
Well,
Oh,
because Neander Wallace is really, really intelligent, and
Yeah.
he did do some things that have helped people, and that's what makes him so dangerous. Like, he can actually back it all up.
Yeah.
To address Dre's comment, it is addressed in the so he is bending Tyrell tech as far as replicants go, but he did innovate essentially a particular type of yeast that prevented global famine. So he did accomplish that on his own, and that is what essentially gave him the capital he needed to enter the replicant sector.
Ooh, was that something that you didn't get to finish? Because I seem to remember that there was a prediction when Evie and Foster went to meet Neander,
Mhm.
and he was like, yeah, basically, if you have stock in Wallace Agricor, you may want to pull out now. You may want to sell while you still have it, because it's going to take a nosedive. And I was like, waiting for that shoe to drop at some point. Like, what's happening with Wallace props exactly?
Yeah, so that was all sort of tied up with the riot at the end. And it's probably something that will be more explored in season 2 as you get missives from Earth. But yeah, so essentially the replicants are gonna fuck shit up again. That's gonna have another impact again.
Okay. Looking forward to that.
And also, what Rhiannon Wilder was also saying is like, yeah, things are building towards a breaking point. We are too reliant on replicants, but public opinion is too opposed to them. Woo!
Oh, I see. Okay. I forgot about that. Yes. That was one of the meetings that Jared's character had with the UN liaison.
Drea asks, will KD show up in season 2?
Well, who?
Ryan Gosling's character?
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean,
It would be a Ken interesting and god damn it, Drea. I love you.
so honestly, I was kind of hoping that Quinn would get on the moon bus and break up with Joshi. Because that would explain why she just so unethically hits on Kay in the movie. She's like, my girlfriend left me 6 months ago.
That would have been a hell of a scene.
Yes.
I mean, Quinn could have had Quinn get on the bus. Like Evie wasn't actually going to shoot them, but like, I felt like Quinn had the least reason to be on that bus of everyone.
Yeah, you start, go ahead.
Oh, well, they'll have their chance to board moon buses aplenty in season 2. So Drea says, yeah, but he doesn't even have genitals. She's just play flirting.
I think she's making a Ken joke because he plays Ken also.
No.
I mean, I had always assumed that
Yeah,
replicants had all the necessary bits like that.
they do. You see in 2049 when Neander cuts the one lady and then murders her immediately. But she's got all the parts.
Oh yeah. I do like how 2 of Ryan Gosling's biggest roles have been like, am I a person? And it's Kay and Ken. I appreciate that as well.
Yeah.
Yes, Ryan, you are.
and fucking just shredded, absolutely shredded as a human being.
Good gosh.
I'm not even mask attracted, and I have to give it up. The man shredded. God damn it, Drea. A real exploration of the human condition.
Okay, well, so I just want to point out in that movie, in the Barbie movie, at no point did Ken do anything to make Barbie's life better. He
No.
only
Wow.
made it more complicated. Exactly,
Drea's-
baby.
Good point.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well said, baby. When
No,
me and
no,
Drea
I-
watched it together, and she said something that made me laugh. She was like, "Oh, it's like the Matrix for girls," and I was like, "So just the Matrix then?" Because the Wachowski sisters are formerly, yeah. I know you corrected. It was just very funny. Barbie is the Matrix for cis women. Yeah, that's more accurate. Even though there is a not canonically, a trans woman in it, playing the Doctor character, which is super awesome. We got off on a fucking Barbie tangent. Thanks, Drea.
You know that this is the rap party. It is meant. For
Yeah,
us
we
to
can do
be
what the
just-
fuck we want.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah,
There are
next-
no rules,
see-
no rules.
Coming soon, the Barbie TTRPG.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think that would just be like you just find like Passions de la Passiones or trying to think of other Powered by the Apocalypse games. We're way off, Tanner. No one knows anymore.
I mean, probably like some sort of spin-off of Thirsty Sword Lesbians.
Oh, Thirsty Sword Lesbians would work for
Yeah.
Barbie, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
Treya. This is not a real question. So how will the resolution of Barbie the film play into the rating of season 2?
So is this where we should announce that we have Margot Robbie joining for season 2?
Oh, wow.
You know what? Fuck it. I'd be all in if we had that happen. I don't care if we mix two, like, a beloved franchise with Barbie. I don't give a crap. Let's do it.
Okay.
I
that's my
mean,
ball.
I don't know that I could afford her rates.
Kay watches an old Mattel Barbie commercial on an old vid and has another existential crisis.
I mean, you could probably adapt the Saturday morning cartoon RPGs, I think.
Oh yeah, there's a bunch of them out there.
Lila, oh god damn it. Lila's got a good one in chat. I've seen things you people wouldn't believe. Beach offs at the Mojo Dojo Casa house. I watched color reveal Barbie glitter in the dark near Barbie Dream Camper. All those moments be lost in time. Like Alan all the time. Time to sing.
Like
God
tears
damn
in
it.
the rain.
Beautiful.
Which one is Alan all the time? Was that the sugar daddy? Ken,
Alan's
or
Michael
the-
Cera.
Oh, right.
Ken's buddy. His buddy.
Layla just dropped me from the cage of Helen and sailed directly into the announcer's table. Michael Cera did a good job as Alan in that movie.
I would say it's one of the few times. Mostly, I find Michael Cera's characters insufferable. I enjoyed Alan quite a bit.
I feel like for Michael Cera's character, like the prompt that he's almost always given is like, all right, you have wandered on set and you're not sure what to do, but you glance at the script once or twice.
Yes, correct.
So, but I have like that last question where you're like, if you want it for season 2, what kind of story would you like to do? So I've been thinking about that as well. Like I said, if I kept Tanner, it probably would be if we did like the true underground fashion where he just completely goes rogue. I would say I'd probably have to do something with his girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
Going from there. If not, I would probably just make a new PC. And honestly, I don't know. I'd have to think about that for a little bit.
I
If he
assume
doesn't
they'll have
affect it,
different
he-
base like starting options than the ones that the core book had, since they're all tied to being a Blade Runner.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I would assume. And we don't even really know when that book is gonna come out.
Right.
All we know is 2024 at some point.
Mhm.
Bold of you to assume there will be a 2024.
You know, fair.
Yeah, well, lots of things say they're going to come out at 2024, but you know what? Things just don't work out that way usually.
I mean, I do trust Free League. They've
Oh,
been
Yeah, I can see that.
Consistently
generally,
good, yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely.
It's not like they're
I
a
mean-
small publisher.
What other games does Free League do?
They do they do the
Aliens.
Alien RPG. They do Simba Room.
Mhm.
I-
what
uh,
else?
Coriolis.
yes,
I
Coriolis.
think Coriolis.
Uh,
That's interesting.
Mhm.
Oh, they do the One Ring.
Yes.
I got a chance to play that once with a friend. Who just fucking fell in love with that game.
They do.
Oh, they do the Crusader Kings board game. They also do
Really?
Twilight 2000 that Steve ran for a little bit.
Wow,
Trying to
that was excellent.
And Tales from the Loop.
Yes, there we
Yeah.
go. That's the one I was trying to think of the name of.
That's the big one.
Yeah. I still need to watch that show.
Same.
I heard
I
it's grim, so I'll probably end up watching it and feel better about myself afterwards, like I did with Last of Us.
they also do Vaesen.
Yeah.
Mason
Oh.
is super fun.
Yeah, and if you are interested in Vaesen, you should check out the supplement that I worked on
Mhm.
with Ever and two friends, which is so the base game is set in the Victorian Nordic countries. So like Sweden and Norway and such in the late 1800s. And so we did a supplement that I edited about modern Vaesen and how they might fit into any campaign set anywhere. Because Tales from the Loop, I believe, presumes it's either going to happen in a small town in Sweden or a small town in Nevada.
Yeah.
Huh.
Basically, I think there needs to be a super collider is what one of the requirements.
Mm.
Yeah.
We love a super collider.
Are Free League also the ones that do Tales from the Flood, which is like
That's
the
that's the
follow-up?
same system as Tales from the Loop, or not same system,
Okay.
but same universe as
Yeah,
Tales
it's
from the
just,
Loop.
I think you're just your
Yeah.
kids in the '90s instead of the '80s.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I mean, I'd run that. I remember what it was like to be a kid in the 90s.
I also unfortunately remember what that was like. Yes.
I will say, best time to be a goth teenager was the 90s.
Agreed.
100%. Yeah.
Man, should have been a goth teenager. That'd have been rad.
Ah, nerd.
Ah,
Being a teenager in the 90s?
goth
Yeah.
teenager in the 90s. Best
I
fashion,
was
best music.
all right. That's this is getting a little stretched. Okay. There's a lot of terrible shit from the 90s.
This
Let's
is
be
true.
real.
Was.
Just specifically
True.
being a, yeah, no, for sure.
Goth teenager in the 90s. If you're going to be a goth teen at any point.
I was a teen in the 90s. I was born in 84, Drea.
Betty disagrees.
Mm.
Betty's
Uh,
wrong.
80s was the best decade.
80s gave us
Was it?
hair metal, which is an abomination.
Quiet, yeah.
You take that back.
I will not. I
Dee
refuse.
Snyder is a national treasure.
Steve will fight you on this
On
on
the
account of
moon.
power ballads.
Oh, I love
I'm
a
sorry,
power
but-
ballad.
You can't go wrong with Dio. Just saying.
Well, okay, Dio is not hair metal.
It's pretty hair metal in my opinion. But
I say he's way more just metal.
Wait, what?
He came.
What did Dee Snyder do to turn out transphobic? Because I see him drop kicking transphobes on Twitter like all day long now.
I thought that was Alice
Yeah.
Cooper that did a transphobe thing, not Dee Snyder, but maybe he did too.
either way. So speaking of the
Hmm.
90s on that, I was actually watching Bohemian Rhapsody, and I was thinking to myself, like, you know how freaking sick it would be to see Freddie Mercury live? Like, what if he didn't die back in the 90s?
Oh,
Would you get concert
man.
tickets?
Probably, yeah.
Could the question is, could we afford concert tickets? And the answer is fucking no.
Probably not. But still.
Bringing that question back to Blade Runner, would that be
Oh.
a thing in that setting? I mean, you see how in current times you have holographic Tupac and
Uh-huh.
celebrities
Oh.
being brought back
Oh,
in that fashion. Would that be a thing in the setting of Blade Runner?
that'd
Yeah.
be so fucked. You could dig up like celebrities and be like, let me just get your DNA real quick.
Right.
That's fucked up.
Literally make another Freddie Mercury.
So my initial inclination for world building as a storyteller to this question is they probably did try to like dig up I don't know, Marilyn Monroe or Freddie Mercury or someone,
Mm.
and there was a big, huge lawsuit between the corpse trying to do this and their surviving estate, who's like,
Right.
no, you can't do this. And also, like Jurassic Park has sort of
Mhm.
forked our understanding, but DNA does degrade as the body decays.
Right. So
So,
they'd have to keep making them.
well, so it would be really difficult to get a full comprehensive strand of DNA uh from the remains of someone who died 50 years ago.
Mm.
If they were embalmed, you might be a little bit better. I don't know what they did to Freddie Mercury after he passed away. Steve.
That's why you splice them with frog DNA.
What could possibly go wrong?
Yeah.
That's the Jurassic Park thing. You splice it with you fill in there's gaps for the
Okay.
degrade. And you just put frog DNA in there. Clearly, that's the easiest answer ever.
But every
All right.
one out of 1,000 has
So-
this weird voice thing. They're start talking like this.
So my brain made a couple loop-de-loops just now.
Sure.
And so the end result, Steve, I hope you're happy with this, is that I need to start up a new Baldur's Gate 3 playthrough with a Githyanki bard.
Oh God.
Okay. How did you? I need the logic progression there.
Because the Githyanki are like the frog people, right?
They are?
Are they?
That like frog elves? That's how I've sort of like interpreted them, as like sort of being kind of froggy in appearance.
They look like desiccated elves from like really, really pale elves. I always thought, but I don't know much about the
Okay, I mean,
gift.
Okay.
I'll buy that. I'll buy it.
And so I was like, what would Freddie Mercury look like spliced with frog DNA?
Oh
A
my God.
Githyanki.
I don't care for this at
Well, now
all.
I have to do that,
That
and
was
of
quite
course
the roller
it's gonna
coaster.
be and of course it's gonna be a bard, because what else is he gonna be?
So
Wow.
technically, the Githyanki were experiments to begin with. Because
Oh,
didn't
they
the Gith
were?
make them?
Yeah, I said they were legitimately spliced with frog DNA. Rachel, you were right. Good job.
They're on Dark Sun, aren't they? They're on Athos.
You
find them there.
No.
More
I
like
don't think they're in
Assis if you're
Dark
talking
Sun.
about Lozelle. Sorry.
They're more Planescape or Spelljammer, because they live in the astral plane.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Lae'zel actually has this whole thing where Githyanki set up settlements or creches because they cannot hatch their eggs nor raise their young in the astral plane because time does not pass in the astral plane. And so one thing that I think a lot of people have missed, and that I actually didn't fully grok until my second playthrough, is in Baldur's Gate 3, when you go to the creche with Lae'zel, or I mean, you don't have to bring her, but why would you not?
She
And
was
you're
dead for
crawling
me.
and you're crawling all over this ruined monastery. Like, it's easy to assume that, like, oh, it's a ruined monastery. The Gith just moved in. Like, no, they took it over. They showed up and murdered everyone living there.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt that.
Yeah.
100% could see that.
Okay, we're gonna get an Ever now. Hooray!
Oh, I will kill my
Alright.
Zoom. Boop, boop, boop. Leave meeting.
Hooray! Your hair looks so
Hello.
cute.
Oh, thank you.
It's got the Tilda Swinton playing Gabriel and Constantine vibe.
Oh, it really does. Yeah.
Oh my god, that makes me happy.
Constantine. Speaking of that movie, they need to do Constantine too. I don't care.
I didn't hate that movie. I thought it was good.
With what's his face?
Keanu.
Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah, Keanu.
Yes,
With
yes,
Keanu.
Eric, with Shia LaBeouf. That's who people remember from Constantine.
Oh yeah, totally.
Actual cannibal Shia LaBeouf?
Yes, actually.
Yeah, just do it.
Just do it.
Ever, you missed some really interesting questions from the onset. I think
Damn.
the very first one they asked was, which Foster scene made you cringe the most? Please regale us.
Oh shit.
There's so many.
Probably the very first scene where you revealed Foster's personality.
So you and Aaron are in agreement on that, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Because it was like, I don't think I had ever seen you play a character like that before. It was mildly terrifying.
Awesome.
Definitely noticed Eric can be ruthless with his characters if he really wants to. One thing about like Foster that I realized, like, this guy is not afraid to kill, like, not afraid to hurt some people. Just
This is true.
casually threatens Evie right in the car.
That had to be retcon, but yes, I did threaten to have Bautista snap her neck and throw her body out of the
Yeah.
car in the middle of the riot.
Speaking of Batista, Steve, how were those wonderful memes I made for you? Were they great for you?
Oh god.
Incredible.
I'm very proud of them. I do want to say it's Ben's fault entirely for egging me on to do it.
I feel
Yeah.
like I think just in general we can just since he's not here we can just blame everything on Ben.
Oh, that sounds good. Let's do that. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I'm down. I'm into this.
Ben, it was all your fault.
Drea is asking, will the Quinneman role be making a return to season 2?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah, so that was another question that I had asked the rest of the cast is if you so essentially, would you want your character to bring your character forward into the Replicant Rebellion season 2? And if so, what sort of like story arc would you want?
Oh, well, so with Quinn, I feel like that is the direction in which they're growing, is seeing that, the whole anti-replicant movement is it bad. We never actually got to touch on Quinn's background. Yes, Joshi was part of that, but as a child, Quinn had also reported a runaway replicant to a police officer. And essentially, I think the background had included oh gosh, what was it? It's been so long now.
I mean, I have
Someone-
it open for music purposes, so I can pop open. Oh, no, that is not Quinn. That is someone named Quincy. Who the fuck is Quincy? And why is his sheet
Replicant
blank?
imposter. I'm really interested to
Quinn
know.
Kinsey.
There you go.
All right. What are you interested to know, though, Eric?
I want to know what happens when Quinn goes back to HQ and has to face Yoshi and ultimately gets a report put in front of them that they have to fill out, because that would be the culmination of her entire arc, right? Like from the background to everything that's transpired so far. Would she report Evie and Foster and potentially perjure herself as well, themselves in this report as having aided and abetted known suspects and Replicant Underground agents and so on?
I'm thinking, God, that's such a hard question. Because that would be a huge moment for Quinn. Does Quinn actually lie, or lie for good or tell the truth for the bad guys.
I mean, I was saying how I was amused. So we were having the scene where Quinn is being confronted about getting on the moon bus, and in my personal headcanon, I'm like, well, if she does, this really explains why she so aggressively hits on Kay in the movie. And she's like, my girlfriend left me 6 months ago.
Oh, but Quinn didn't get on the moon bus. Um,
No, Aaron was no. Evie was like, "Do not get on this moon bus, Quinn, or else I'm gonna
I
kill
mean,
you."
I would never take player agency away, and I made that very clear. Ever could have had Quinn get on the bus.
But on another point, it probably was
it
best
just
if
wouldn't have
she
been
stayed
Quinn.
off.
Yeah.
Regards.
Yeah, well, because I noticed when I was giving you the choice and how I framed it is like, yeah, this is essentially breaking up with Joshi. Who I guess is just a cheating asshole now.
Well,
I think so. I mean, if we're gonna play into the Blade Runner 2049 canon, what I think probably happens is if Quinn, like, say Quinn does try to pull the lie off, the Quinn's just not good at lying, right? So that's what probably starts the cheating. Like once you start lying in a relationship, it's someone's gonna end up cheating.
so I'm thinking at the point in Quinn's uh character development, Quinn would try and combine the truth and a bit of lying. Like, oh yeah, wow, having a brain fart. Because I see your name Aaron on your
Evie.
Evie. So, like, Evie didn't have a choice, had to go on the moon bus, like, and same with Foster. So try and like intertwine the truth with a lie, um, changeling brain, and ultimately, yes, be bad at lying, and when caught, like, okay, I don't believe this anymore. So
Interesting potential direction to take things.
So, wild idea here. What if that replicant that you ratted on? What if he or she came back?
Which
That's-
replicant is this? Oh, I got it. Okay.
that
I
would.
mean,
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
as a GM, I would not do it that way, because I feel as though it is important for characters to feel the consequences of their choices. And so it's like, oh, you ratted him out, but it's fine. The replicant turned out okay in the end. Um,
He got a good home.
I don't think that's good storytelling, and I don't think that that is even suitable for this setting. So, like, yeah, no, Quinn is gonna have to deal with the guilt of getting a replicant retired who may or may not have deserved it.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
feel
No
so
as,
happy endings in Blade Runner.
Yeah.
I feel as
so
though
they-
also in that situation it also kind of reflects the, as we're kids, we're told you go to the policeman if you're in trouble, you go to the
Mhm.
policeman, so you're taught to trust this authority figure. And then as Quinn really grows up and has a flash flood of character growth, realizing, oh, that's not exactly how cops work. Like, they're not the good guys.
Right.
Truth, Drea. Only some kids are taught that.
I was
Fair.
taught that, but I was also
I was
taught
too, yeah.
Dare as a kid.
I was also in Dare as a kid, yeah.
Mm.
It has helped me so much as a writer. I have such an in-depth knowledge of drugs.
Yeah, that's why I have an in-depth knowledge of drugs because of Dare. Wink.
All
I've
right.
certainly never done drugs.
So, we are about halfway through, and my cat, who's just done a crime in his litter box, um, so, maybe now's a good time to take a 10-minute break.
Okay.
All right, go get some food, get some water, ponder questions. I'm gonna hold my cat accountable before the Geneva Convention.
Okay.
To The Hague with you.
We'll be right back.
And with that off-camera discussion of PC versus NPC romance, I hope the emotional blackmail worked. That's all I'm gonna say. Anyway. So, yes, I've addressed the war crime in the letterbox. He has gotten his kibble ration for the night.
You destroyed his protest against cops.
So, when Bob and I were talking about getting a cat, one of the big questions we had to resolve was where to put the cat box. And we found a spot that is very near my workstation and relatively far from his. Because, like, the agreement we had was, like, I was going to be the cat's primary caretaker, and, like, yes, absolutely. So it made more sense for the litter box to be closer to me, so I can smell that it needs to be changed. It needs to be changed.
So
How
did you rock
delightful.
the cat box?
Yeah, on camera.
Get it
No,
rock the cat box?
I don't think he would enjoy his cat box being rocked. He is a very picky cat.
Rock the cat box.
No,
Rock
he-
the cat box.
He made me think, like, I was getting really worried because he would stand in his litter box and meow at me, which he sometimes does when he's like, "Mom, it's too dirty, change it." So I do it because I like to reward good behavior, and that is good behavior. But so I did that, and he stood in the litter box and meowed at me some more. And I'm like, "Are you sick?" So this little gremlin made me like leave the house and walk to the drugstore at like 10:30. Get a whole new thing of cat litter because the brand that was in the box, I don't know, didn't suit his paws or something.
Too abrasive, I'm sure, for his little pads.
His little delicate kitten paws, but so now I've got a brand he likes. It's just one I've got to drive to go get.
Yeah.
So
Sounds
this
like you got a
weekend-
cat.
Yeah, so this
Human.
weekend actually is kitty litter will be a kitty litter run because I'm running low on it.
Oh, Lucy.
But yes, he is very much a cat, but he is very well behaved. Anyway,
Betty, Jesus. I did just read. Oh God! All right, we're going. Here we go. Typical Friday night now for us, apparently. I was gonna say I just read an interesting article that cats domesticated themselves.
they did. As
Yeah.
far as anyone can tell, they did.
Yeah.
Just like
No
it's
human
Brilliant.
warm. It's warm and cozy in here, and look, I'm killing all the mice, destroying your grains, and aren't I cute? Also have some brainworm. Brainworm
Yes.
that makes you love me.
Toxoplasmosis.
All right.
I probably have that.
Did you know? By the way, if you are pregnant, do not scoop a litter box.
That's why I have it.
But
so
also-
when my mom got pregnant, that became my chore.
Oh, that
Yeah.
Cat feces attracts mice and rats so that they can eat them.
Oh, really?
Huh. Fancy that.
Interesting.
I thought it repelled them.
Mm-mm.
Oh, well, that-
Unless I'm recalling wrong.
I thought that the smell of cat pee repelled them. Well, in that case, I am very happy that I went with my fox pee plan for my garden and not the like litter box harvest plan to keep the gophers away from my fucking corn.
Oh,
I hate
it's-
gophers.
it only attracts rats if they also have toxoplasmosis, if they drink water contaminated with cat feces.
Oh, okay.
I feel
I
like
have
every
no
rat in
idea.
LA has toxoplasmosis. It was gonna be real.
I just want the gophers to stop eating my corn.
I was once charged by a rat when I was living here.
Wow.
Oh, that sounds horrifying.
Charge, what do you
Yeah.
mean?
It ran down a tree and just ran directly towards
Oh,
me.
God.
Zero fear.
Oh Lord.
I'm
would've
imagining a
been-
giant rat coming out from behind a trash can where Aaron parked and like comes up and it's like, no, you're impeding on my part. I'm charging you right now.
No, I was out in front of my apartment drinking with my neighbors, and this rat just fucking charged me, and I just jumped over it. I was like, "Fuck this! Go on your ways. Go on your way, rat person. I don't want any part of this." The other wild rat story I have is when I was in Chicago, I saw a rat and a cat throw down, and the rat won.
Oh
Jeez.
wow.
Really?
Well, rats.
Holy
Chicago
shit.
rats are big.
Rats can get pretty. Yeah, they can get pretty fucking big. And like, my
They're also
cat's
very
only
smart.
like 10 pounds at most.
And cats and rats can chew through concrete.
Ew.
The ones we got at my old apartment busted in through the wall sockets.
Holy shit. But picture this Blade Runner, but the cast's cats.
We wouldn't be real cats; we'd be all replicants for sure.
I was gonna say,
Replicats?
most animals in Blade
Replicats,
Runner are
yes.
artificial. Well, at least the ones that
Okay.
the people keep domesticated.
Um, I was totally going to say something, and then I got a picture of Betty in a cat suit. It's in the
Whoa.
Discord.
Magnificent.
That's great.
I need to make an emoji that is a Lucifer head, I've decided.
Why haven't you yet?
Because the idea just came to me right now, Ever.
That's more than enough time.
I mean, I guess I could pop open Photoshop like right now, but that would distract me from answering. I don't. Any more spoilers that you want to know about Blade Runner?
I allegedly own a Catgirl maid costume. Allegedly.
I would have to see this. I'd have to see it.
You're gonna have to
alleged.
fly out here again.
Ah.
That's true. Oh, I like that. That's good blackmail. I enjoy that.
I do want to come out to Cali again at some point and spend longer there. There's museums I need to go to, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, you all joke, but Time Hop has been showing me photos from the first Vorpal mood, and I'm
Yeah.
just like, what if we did another one of those in California?
That'd be fun. I think so.
So it wouldn't be that hard because you can rent a lot of mansions through Airbnb, or not even mansions, like houses with a lot of bedrooms. That's what I did for my wedding. Ever was there. They saw. But yeah, we rented like a 5 or 6 bedroom place. That one was adequate, but I wouldn't.
It was interesting.
What if like we did?
I mean, I just needed a place to crash and shower, and that's what I got, and that's what I paid for, and I'm happy with that. But if we were doing a moot, I would want somewhere with a few more amenities.
I'm pretty sure there was a dead fish in the yard. For one, and two,
I missed the dead
bathrooms-
fish.
the bathrooms were conjoined. I mean, there was a door between them, but if you really wanted to, you could use the bathroom with a friend.
I mean, that
No.
is true friendship ever.
No. No. Absolutely not.
But no, it would not be that expensive to find a place that like could hold like, I don't know, 7 bedrooms worth of people. And there's
I
a
think-
lot to do, and Not all of it is super expensive because we've got the beach is free. Um, and so that would be like one days would be the beach day, and then the Getty. I think you in particular, Ever, and also Steve would really enjoy the Getty, which is a free museum. You just have to pay for parking, which
Oh,
is
you're not saying spaghetti.
no, the Getty.
Oh.
My mind went to the same
Spaghetti
place.
museum.
Good,
Oh my
you're good.
god.
Oh, I was excited.
So once upon a time, there was an oil magnate named J. Paul Getty. But do you have Buca de Beppo in Florida?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I believe I've taken Steve there at least once, didn't I?
There's such
I think so.
good food.
I think so.
To go to the Pope room or just
I
walk
know,
by the
I
Pope
know.
room.
We would have enough people to ask for the Pope room.
Yeah.
Do you think he uses potpourri?
Oh gosh.
I would want to know if they would have changed popes because the last time I was there, Paparazzi was the Pope, but like the little Pope figurine in the middle was John Paul II.
Ew.
Ugh,
So-
yeah.
I mean, all the
Uh,
popes are awful. Let's be real.
Right.
I mean, Alexander Borgia was a terrible pope. Did a lot of good work for the papacy. By that I mean accelerated the Protestant Reformation.
Drea. Drea, oh, that'd only be if we rented a certain castle out here. You'd have to be worried about.
I don't know. I
Uh,
think it'd be kind of cool, like if you did do like that renting out mansion thing. Like, I think it'd be cool just to do like maybe a day, like freaking LARP or something inside it if you have like that big old mansion because you have like the
Oh, that's an idea.
amenities and shit like that are there.
Blue, the RPG.
That would be so fucking
done it?
cool.
Yeah. Or do like a whole week one where that's all we're doing is LARPing.
We just can't LARP in Pasadena.
There
Yeah,
you
it's illegal.
What?
For real?
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Yeah, all right. So, first off, I'm gonna Google a picture of Pasadena City Hall. I'm gonna post it.
Thunderbolt.
I'm gonna post it in the box seats.
Parade.
Okay. So, all right, here we go. Posting in the box seats. So, that is Pasadena City Hall. For those of you who are not in the Discord, why aren't you? Which, maybe I take this moment to post the link to get people into the Discord. There you go. So, but it is this really beautiful, almost like a Renaissance or Gothic Spanish architecture.
Yeah, I
And
could see
so, for a long, long time, they had vampire LARPs, specifically Sabbat LARPs, in that big plaza in front of the building. And because it was a vampire LARP, it was like Saturday night from like 8 p.m. to midnight. Nobody cared. Oh wow, a bunch of weird teenagers and young adults are hanging out in front of City Hall. Who cares? But then it was Halloween. It was Palo Grande. And they went all out for decorations, which for Sabbat means skeletons and chalices and daggers and lots and lots
Jesus.
of blood. Freaked people out so much that they banned LARPing in Pasadena.
Wow.
Jesus Christ. Hey, at least they had dedication. Gotta give them that.
I'm really sad I didn't go to this game. I only heard about it after the fact.
Wow.
Magnificent.
That's
What if
fun.
you do it on Halloween though?
So, if I was gonna organize fire moot. I would want to do it during the summer so that people like Jared and Steve found it easier to attend.
Hmm.
Um, and there's a bunch of local friends here who are also in education who, like, if I'm like, hey, there's like a nerdathon happening yonder, they would absolutely want to show up.
Nice.
I killed Ever. I broke Ever.
No, the cat clawed my chest.
Oh no! Are you
Oh.
okay?
Oh yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah, he just jumped off and was like, "Let me use my back feet."
Been there.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, so we could do like a one day for a lark, a one day at the beach, or one day we go to the free museums. So like oh, and there's Huntington Gardens, which is really, really pretty.
Doesn't that mean going to Huntington Beach though, which is Nazi land?
no, no,
Oh,
no.
okay.
Huntington Gardens, it's actually in like the Pasadena Glendale area.
Huh.
And
Oh,
it's sort of
actually,
this-
yeah, one of my VTuber friends went there with her partner.
Yeah, it's really nice. They've got like one of Audubon's big folios, and I didn't fucking understand it until I was there in the room looking at it. Like Audubon made a huge book about birds of North America. It's 5 feet. It is a giant book of birds. And
A lot of birds.
They turn a page every day, so
Oh, that's cool.
yeah. And there's some really nice grounds and gardens to walk around.
I really want to go to it's. I told Trudy like I wanted to go to California because they have like the I think the lotus blossoms, like the Japanese flower, like they got. I think they're called lotus blossom gardens. Like just.
Oh
the-
yeah, we've got a couple of those.
Yeah, there's one
I went-
actually not too far from me.
Yeah, that is probably where Bob and I attended the wedding of some friends of ours.
Cool.
A long time ago, but yeah, it was in a Japanese garden.
Always wanted to go to one of those.
It's very pretty. Yeah, and then oh yeah, also if we would hold it into the summer, the Hollywood Forever Cemetery, which you might recognize from such franchises as Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. Yes, that place actually exists. It is where all the golden and silver age of cinema movie stars are buried. In the summer, they do outdoor movie screenings. So they get like
Ooh.
this big inflatable movie screen, and they're like, here's like, oh God, who am I thinking of? Here's a Mary Pickford movie. She's buried over there.
Hmm.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that would be awesome. I agree. Whew.
Ooh, Betty asked a good question. When's the next VTM game?
Oh,
Oh,
God.
That is a very good question, and I want
So,
to be considered a cast member for that one.
all right. So, let me organize my mental points. So, currently in my mental roster of games I want to run, I want to run an Old Gods of Appalachia game. I have sort of a script already worked out. But the concept I have would be very, very dependent on the player characters' stories. So essentially, the framing, I'm stealing it from one of the episodes where I'm blanking on the character name, but she's got to go back to this ruined town to sort of reclaim anything that's there, and she is it Maggie Walker? I don't think it's Maggie Walker, but it's one of the Walkers. But they end up reading the journal of the Walker matriarch. And I would sort of want to do that, but for a settlement where, okay, so there's this abandoned town. It's about to get plowed under. You are all essentially heirs, descendants, etc. Uh, so go to town, reclaim what there is to be reclaimed, and then the story happens.
Hmm.
So I want to run that, and then I also want to run. So I have this idea in my head of a Warhammer 40K isekai, where the PCs start as astronauts and or cosmonauts in 1992. They get fired off onto a secret mission that's a collaboration between the United States and the about to collapse USSR. Fall through a hole in the warp. Haven't decided when they come out. It could be during the Horus Heresy. It could be during the normal time. And so I want to run that. Then I also want to run Dracula Dossier, which I have the books for, and I've always wanted to run. That requires some extra from the players. Like it is the module that gives you homework. You have to do a close reading of Dracula. So those are the 3 campaigns that sort of have primacy in my head and my creative space right now. However, I am also working on some documentation and a system for people to send me their own pitches of like, hey, I would like to run a game. Because in the Discord we've sort of been batting about Girl by Moonlight. Because that just came out. And so there will be like a form and a whole system for here is the game I want to run, here is the campaign, whether it's like a one-shot or a whole season or multiple seasons, and et cetera, et cetera. So anyway, to answer your question,
2027.
well, I don't have any immediate plans to run a vampire game. I am creating space for someone else who's been bitten by the muse and drained of a couple blood points to run one that appeals to them.
Darn. Oh, what was I gonna
Anyway, but the more y'all tease me about a fire mood, the more I'm like, okay, but what if?
I'm down.
You got me really thinking about that Warhammer 40K one. Like, dude, does Warhammer have a game? I don't think they do they?
Wrath and Glory.
Alright.
Well, so there's several different RPG that have been published. Wrath and Glory is the most recent one, and that one is sort of like the kitchen sink one, where you're able to play whatever appeals to you. But there are some older titles like Rogue Trader or Dark Heresy that focused on a very narrow aspect of the world.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Well, no, I'm thinking of like how you could pull that off. Like, could potentially those astronauts become space marines? Because I thought it was like a whole genetic thing that they would have to go through in order to become a space marine.
So the funny thing about that is, when the Emperor was choosing the genetic stock on which to base his space marines on, he chose the best and brightest available to him. Astronauts are the best and brightest of their generation.
Yeah, good point. That makes sense.
But
And
if
they
they're
start out as-
40,000 years in the future, would humanity not have evolved
That's a
in
good
such a
question.
way that the baseline has been risen so much higher than what came before 40,000? You know, however many
I mean
generations.
That's a very interesting question.
Because
mean-
like humans could have more muscle mass in general.
I mean, is the astronaut themselves the gene seed, or were they simply the ancestor of the gene seed?
Exactly.
Oh.
Maybe.
I feel like they would be the templates for but that would have to happen earlier on in the history. Forgive my lack of
No, go
lore here.
ahead. No, that's one reason why I'm like, okay, well, what if we did it during the Horus heresy? So it's 30,000 years in the future and not 40. How much can we get away with then?
Well, you can almost do it as a horror thing too, because like normal humans going into a fucked up world like that, like
Oh no, it's absolutely
them
a
going
horror
on to like a
setting.
freaking Warhammer ship and seeing the atrocities, like that'd
So
be
they
terrifying.
would get picked up by a rogue trader because that is the only outcome that I can foresee, in which they are not murdered immediately.
Yeah. Good point. For the Emperor.
That is also another piece of lore I would change. I would move the imperial throne from Tibet to London, because that just seems way more appropriate. But
So, you were mentioning mute. I'm sorry. This is completely off topic. This has nothing to do with anything we're talking about, and I am so
this
sorry.
whole rap party has been off topic.
Well,
I want to talk about hamsters. Let's talk about hamsters. Go for the eyes,
We
boo.
spent maybe 20 minutes talking about
Alright.
Blade Runner.
So you're talking about, possibly going across the country for the Floridians. So and I know. Where are they on the screen? Hold on. This one.
Me?
No, the one directly above me on the Twitch, which is Ever, does not like the planes. So I'm looking at trains.
They're so expensive.
They're so goddamn expensive,
And
Yeah.
they take
and they
like
take so goddamn long.
I
What
hope
the hell is
you're-
wrong with these things,
Elon Musk.
guys?
We were all set to build the Hyperloop, and then he's like, "But what if we didn't?"
Alright, look, trains.
What's the
I'm
hyper?
talking to you for a second. Trains. Get your shit together. Okay?
No, trains are the best.
Like,
Honestly, I've been on a train, like they're the most comfortable way to freaking travel.
I get that. That's why I was like, I was
So-
interested. But I'm not going to spend 90 hours on a train to get from North Florida to LA. And it still cost $440.
Yeah, that's pretty.
So,
American
one thing-
dollars.
But
One
hear
thing I
me
will
out.
say, hello, Bob. Bob is here to say.
Hi,
hello.
Bob. We love
One thing
you,
I will
Bob.
say is that I actually get a lot of creative work done on a train.
90 hours?
Yeah.
Also, a
Just-
lot of napping, I imagine, too.
Catch
Well,
up on a lot of sleep. It's amazing.
They also got like a cafeteria car, and they've got like
Observation
sleeping
deck.
areas, and they've
Yeah.
got like you can walk around. You don't have to sit in a seatbelt all the time.
And every so often at major stops, like they'll stop for like a full half hour so you can like get off and stretch your legs and hang out. Because I used to have some friends who lived up in Santa Barbara, which is about 100 miles north of here. And I would take the train to go see them, and it was a really nice train ride.
Yeah, I
How
think,
long was that train ride, out of curiosity?
Oh, well, okay, that train ride was about an hour and a half.
I'm sure that was, like, legitimately, I'm sure that was actually very nice. Like, yes. Now, repeat that 89 more times.
Okay, but what if What if we figured out a way to fly me out to Florida, and I board the train with you, and we spend those 90 hours playing Horror on the Orient Express?
Yes. There you go. Perfect. I'd do it. That'd be fun.
I would like
That's
to point out I also want to ride a train for fun, not just survival. I always wanted to ride the Blue Ridge in fall and see the leaves. That would be cool.
My brother, for his honeymoon, did a train ride from Wisconsin up to Portland.
I did
Nice.
a train ride from Louisiana all the way to Michigan.
God damn.
Yeah.
That's
it was
fun.
fun. But it was like super comfortable. Like I actually enjoyed it quite a bit. Like,
I'd
and
say
I
if-
think we had like an hour and a half layover in St. Louis, so I got to see the arch, or got to see something of St. Louis, anyways.
Did you get any ribs?
No, didn't have enough time for that shit, but it was good.
Missouri is a trash state you don't need to visit.
I get it.
I did see Nine Inch Nails in St. Louis, though. That was a very good show.
Don't doubt it. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I always recommend people to take a train. Like trains are honestly, they're really awesome. Like I've even like they'll even let you sleep. Because last time I went, like I slept in the observation like deck because I was just wanting to look at it and shit, and they actually let me sleep there. So I was like, I like this. This is way better than a plane. Longer, but
I mean, if I fly, I am dosed to hell and back, so I just sleep and I wake up in my destination.
you're like, oh wow, that was magic.
Must be
Yeah.
nice.
I mean, no, it's not nice because I still have awful anxiety on the way to the airport on the boarding process, and then I take my Xanax and then I'm done.
I can't do
Am I the
Xanax.
person here who enjoys flying?
I'm afraid.
You enjoy it?
I'm acrophobic. I am afraid of heights. I cannot enjoy a flight.
I've been on a plane too. Not bad.
The only thing I don't enjoy about the flight process is obviously that I am a large person, and trains are
Yeah.
not nice to large people. Planes are not nice to large people, but
But trains are.
not. I mean, but like the actual act of flying, I like.
Also, one thing about like I know you're gonna have security everywhere, but I also think like with planes and shit, they take it to another level. I know with like trains
Yeah.
and shit, it's not nearly as freaking like in your face. Like everything has to be batted down. Like
Right.
Yeah, no TSA on the train ride.
yeah, you're
That's,
not.
that
But-
would be the main selling point for me.
Yeah, you
And-
wouldn't have to freaking get there like 2 hours early because of security.
Right, if nothing else, the train always gets there late, so you're good there.
Exactly.
Although Rachel can, I assume, back me up on this one. Having now listened to about 20 episodes of Well, There's Your Problem, I don't know if I ever want to go within 100 feet of a train.
Just don't go on that
Explain.
one weird mine train in New Mexico.
New Mexico,
Yeah.
the fucking cursed train track. Oh my god. Okay, if anyone is a podcast and or YouTube, enjoyer of things, I highly recommend. Well, There's Your Problem. It's a podcast YouTube show about engineering disasters, and it's funny but also very in depth in what they talk about. They talk about the engineering of a particular thing, and then like where a cascading series of events fucked up and caused something horrific to happen.
So like Chernobyl.
Yes, but think more like a bridge,
Like
What-
their second episode was a shopping mall in Korea that just collapsed.
Jesus Christ.
The latest episode was about how a shipping barge on the Mobile River. Had to say it
Oh
right.
my.
Knocked a swing bridge out of alignment by about 3 feet, causing a train to jump the rails and crash into the bayou underneath. Yeah, it's awesome.
Jesus Christ, man.
So, yeah, it's just if you ever wanted to, if you were ever curious how far down a train could go into mud, the answer's about 40-ish feet.
Oh God. Oh man, now I gotta check my podcatcher.
So I got a question for you, Rachel. After Blade Runner, like, what's going to be the plan for games and such after Blade Runner?
I just
Obviously, we
answered
got-
that.
What?
I just so for this specific time slot, I'm going to run a Sicario inspired Delta Green. Yeah, why not? Because it's Villanueva all the way down. So Sicario inspired at Delta Green that we're gonna run for the rest of October, and then probably first Friday in November is when we're gonna do Dune season 4. But then apart from that, we're gonna do the Dragon Age finale part 2 on Monday. And then after that, I am going to start assembling cast for. At the very first, I want to do my Warhammer game, and my Dracula Dossier game. And so for Dracula Dossier, I want to set that up to be a Patreon / podcast thing. Yeah. And so that's sort of the trade-off where, okay, Dracula Dossier, it's the game that gives you homework. You have to do a close reading of Bram Stoker's Dracula. The trade-off is that this would be distributed on podcast networks and through Patreon, and so I could hopefully be able to incentivize players with profit sharing. Ever has a question?
No, just a statement. I already have homework.
I'm sorry about that. I'm not responsible.
Yeah, but this is the cool kind of homework.
Yeah, you get to read a
Yeah.
cool story.
And it honestly would not take that much time, but it is essentially like, okay, I'm demanding your time when you're not at the game table. Even though it's only like 30, 45 minutes a week to read a chapter of Dracula and be like, hmm.
I don't know. Is Dracula required to like read in schools or?
Depends on the school and state, I would assume.
Yeah, so in my school district, we read. Yeah, no, we read both. We read Frankenstein. We read both because I'm thinking, and to myself and not to the rest of you. But we read both Frankenstein and Dracula. Frankenstein, we were told that we had to read Frankenstein because it was foundational in the formation of science fiction as a genre.
I think in my school we did like of Mice and Men, Hamlet, stuff like that.
But so sorry, we're dealing with something in the Discord. Yeah, so we were told that we had to read Frankenstein because it was foundational for the development of science fiction, and then Dracula because it was also super influential because Dracula has never been out of print since the day it was first published. And it's also a really good epistolary novel where the story is revealed through letters that characters write to and from each other.
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
All right. So Erin is taking her leave. She's not feeling well.
Yes, I'm feeling sick again. Bye, everyone. I love
We
you
love
all.
you, Erin. Feel better. Eat ginger.
Drink ale.
Wait, where are you gonna get a ginger at this time of night?
We're in
look who-
LA.
Yeah.
Oh
It's
yeah,
pretty
I
easy.
forget about that.
I was in a Sabat game where one of the PCs used Tinder and Grinder as their herd.
I mean, that's not a terrible idea.
That's brilliant.
I think they also did Uber to supplement, and they got into so much they got like not trouble but fights with the nudist who was like, "You're so fucking gross," and then the other vampire's like, "It's a living."
That's blood money right there.
You turn your Uber driver into a ghoul and have them ferry new customers to you all the time.
Or just feed on your passengers. If you
Right.
have enough presence, it's possible. Presence and dominate. And I mean, if you get someone, so if you're doing your rides at like 2 a.m, you get them when the bars close and empty out. So you get the people who are super drunk. They're not going to remember what happened anyway. And you get a little tipsy. Bonus.
Vampire gets pulled over for drunk driving.
Oh, you just dominate the cop. They all secretly want it. I win. Yeah, so I know we're sort of trickling down to an end because we don't have Ben and Erin had to take her leave. But are there any more plot hints or things that y'all want to know about what might have happened in the Blade Runner game? Because that's what we're here to talk about.
I'm interested to know what happens in the other cities, the other major mega cities on Earth besides LA. Like you have, I think it was London and New York.
Yeah, so the book as written really narrows the focus down to be in Los Angeles, which as an Angelino, I appreciate. Everyone shits on us. I don't know why. It's not our fault we're better than you. Did I say that with my out loud voice? Anyway.
LA, one of the most represented cities. Yeah, so shit
Anyway.
on.
I gotta go. My kid's driving my wife crazy, so I'll talk to you.
Okay.
Well,
All right.
Oh, take it easy, Leo.
Yeah, see ya.
Have a good night.
Oh wait, should I?
We'll just kick you if you can just mute your mic and
Yeah. Well, we're in continual conflict with New York.
I have a question
know,
for you. How many times do you think any town within a 50-mile radius of me has been mentioned in media ever?
Where do you live again?
I don't want to say in chat. Let's just say it doesn't you know.
We'll
Doesn't-
call it Orlando.
Orlando shows up so often.
About two
Oh,
and a half,
okay, never
about
mind.
2 hours plus from Orlando in a direction.
Anyway,
Miami.
To return to the question at hand, I just had to wave the local pride flag a little bit. So yeah, so the game and the whole franchise really stays focused on Los Angeles. And so you can sort of assume that the situation is similar. So essentially, in my sort of extrapolation of where things are going, I'm guessing that there is essentially there's the mega city of Los Angeles and New York and Chicago, and I haven't really done a whole lot of thought to flesh this out, but I'm like, yeah, there would probably be another mega city along the Gulf Coast, like some big amalgamation of like Austin and New Orleans and just along that.
Big sprawl, yeah.
Yeah, and then everything in between is yeast farms. Um, and so the one thing that the game book does say is that yes, other megacities exist, and they function mostly the same. And they all pretty much function as nation states. So even though like all these four megacities are theoretically part of the United States political structure, these are the only four political entities that matter, and that is why the UN has sort of emerged as the ruling body.
Mm.
So so my thought process is like, all right, so America has got these four megacities. I'm certain that there are megacities of the same scope in, London, Paris, Beijing, Kolkata,
Sure.
and that they all, it's essentially Renaissance Italy. All these little nation states operating independently, semi-independently, and the Vatican is the thing that holds them together.
Mm. Yeah. Interesting way of viewing it. I didn't think about it that way before.
Yeah, and
now the
so
Pope has declared that the replicants have no souls. Oh, shit.
right.
Oops.
Oh.
Yeah, and so I sort of wanted that to sort of kickstart, some discussion, some pondering, um, that if I do it right, will show up in season 2 about what the fuck even is a soul? How do you get one? How do you know who has one?
The dollar
That's a
store.
good question.
Yeah, what does that even mean? Especially because I'm clearly seeded a couple of the plot points from 2049 of um if replicants can birth other replicants, do those replicants have souls?
Who ended up with Rachel's bones? Was it the Tanner was with Evan when they found
Quinn.
that?
Quinn's got them. Because they
I do.
if I recall correctly, they got sent back to
The lab
Oh
lab.
shit.
yeah. Yeah, Quinn's got them.
You know, I was working in the lab late one night when my eyes beheld an eerie sight.
I will go over the episode to make sure, because this is something I don't want to fuck up, because this is an important plot point. But I want to say Quinn has them, or has access to them.
Because they dug them up, it was in a box. They were in a
Yeah.
box, basically. And it was Evan and I want to say Tanner. So, yeah, if they brought it in. Oh, fuck.
No, Foster has them. Because
What?
you're the one who took the spinner.
That was the spinner. What? They put it in the back of a
Oh.
police. I don't remember driving a police spinner when he was doing the sneaky shit. But That would be fun.
No, so you dug them up, you put them in the spinner. It would have been department issue spinners. Because what else would you have driven over there or flown over there?
Oh, fuck.
So it's either with Foster or with the crashed spinner in the middle of the desert.
Oh shit. It's wild.
I will go over the episodes to make sure, but either Foster or Quinn have to have them. Or Tanner,
man.
maybe.
Well, I know what Foster would be doing with those bones if you find out what their significance behind them. I think he'd be wanting to take a trip to the Vatican City.
Oh shit, because Sapper Morton's still alive.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
No, Sapper Morton would know exactly what that meant because he was there,
Yeah.
and he would have absolutely been, no, bring the box, we need it.
Yeah. Wow.
Oh.
Wow.
Great. Great.
Changing the timeline. Love it.
I mean, so, and I actually mentioned this as mild criticism of another RPG that's coming out soon. I'm not gonna name them because they're a great podcast. But the RPG, the way that I read the description is that the design is framed around, oh yes, you are helping the main characters of this narrative-based podcast, and I'm like, no. So that never works, and like that's been a criticism of other modules. So like the Dragonlance module in D&D, and to a lesser extent the Changeling the Dreaming big published module, you follow around the named characters and just clean up after them, and you don't get to do anything yourself. You don't get to affect the plot in the big glorious ways that they do. And that's part of the reason why I've never had Kay show up. You are all outshining him. You are going to take his place in the narrative, much the same way that House Cheshire is changing the narrative so much in the Dune game.
Yeah.
Because
That
that's
is-
fun, right?
That is infinitely more interesting than,
Playing second fiddle,
Your
sure.
minor characters in this other thing, you know how it goes, which is, every bad Star Wars game I've been in does
Right.
that. Like they're just like, yeah, the cool characters are out there having the cool movie adventure. You're also there. Like cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I can speak to that.
Yeah, so I still want characters so I still want there in season 2 to be the same themes.
Sure.
And plot elements that are there in 2049 of like, oh my god, a replicant had a baby. But I want the PCs to be at the forefront of that, not K.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
So, I forget how I got started on this stage.
I had
Bones.
just asked questions about the different mega cities.
Oh, right. Yeah, and
Yeah.
who had Rachel's bones?
Yeah.
But yeah, Sapper Morton's alive, and someone's got a box of replicant bones.
Someone's got a
And
box
I have-
of Rachel Bones.
And I
Yeah.
have dangled Anna Stelline, but nobody went to go talk to her.
Who was this?
So in the first part of the season, you met Lilith Tyrell, who was
Yeah.
Eldon Tyrell's niece, who yeah, she died. And so someone else was like, oh my god, our memory crafter died. We need a new one. What about this Anna Stelline? Okay,
Oh,
let's go
that's
get
right.
her.
We got pretty far down the rabbit hole to to circle back around to that, unfortunately. Oh man.
So
No,
to
that's
that
fine.
point, I would like to suggest that Quinn might make appearances in the next season, but not be a character that I play consistently. If that makes sense and
Yeah.
is acceptable.
Yeah, so earlier I actually tempted Jared with or Leo, I suppose, uh where because he wasn't sure if he wanted to continue playing Tanner or make a new character. I said, well, if you wanted to retire him, uh I would let Tanner accomplish a lot of his goals, set up his UN office of essentially an EEOC for replicants. But Tanner's a dirty cop and power corrupts. So he would become the campaign antagonist.
That's entertaining.
And I think Quinn is a little too cinnamon roll to be the antagonist.
Or
but
like
could-
here's a helping hand.
No, I say Quinn goes full bad guy.
The incidental bad guy, the incidental agonist of season
Just the
2.
evil cinnamon roll.
Yes, Quinn dyes her hair red and is evil. That's totally what happens.
Yep.
The bad breakup with Yoshi breaks them, huh?
Indeed. Oh.
All right. Well, I feel like we've sort of wound down to a conclusion. This has been a lot of fun. I have enjoyed hanging out with everyone. I have enjoyed running this campaign. Everyone has been brilliant as players, and I can't wait until season 2.
Yeah.
But
Same.
yeah, we've got Delta Green carry us through the rest of October, and then Dude season 4, which is going to be amazing. I can't wait. Also watch the Stolen Fires Twitter, watch the Discord for announcements on new shows. Should be a lot of fun.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I guess just one quick round of self promo if you want to advocate for anything else that you're up to, into, involved with.
Oh, I am here. I am there. I am everywhere. You can find me all over the internet. Literally as I am Changeling. Literally all over the internet. I'm on Blue Sky now, thanks to Rachel giving me a code, and I'm on Threads from Instagram. I'm on Instagram. I'm still, for some godforsaken reason, on Twitter. I'm on Tumblr, because that's a thing again. It's fun. Nostalgia. Reposting forest pictures all the time. But anyway, I don't know when I'll see you again, but I will see you. And happy October.
All right, Steve or Eric?
Eric first.
No, I'll be here always on Friday nights, seemingly. So you can catch me then. I'm very excited for what comes next, especially Delta Green, because I love Delta Green.
All right, and Steve will be here for the season finale part 2, because killing an archdemon takes more than 3 hours. Who would have guessed?
Who could have foreseen that?
Yeah, of the Dragon Age game. Yeah, so that is all the important information that I have to relay at this moment. Check out Leo of the Black. Check out Great Cthulhu. Check out Big Dad. They are wonderful players who could not be here tonight. Yeah, so good night, everybody. We will see you next week.
Good night. Oh, I'm producing. Good night.